Galliano traffic, Skyhawk 0 Sierra Foxtrot, departing the general aviation ramp for taxi pattern work, runway 36, Galliano. Hey guys, welcome. We're going to try something a little bit new today. We're going to do pattern work through Microsoft Flight Simulator here at Galliano, Louisiana. And we've chosen Galliano, Louisiana because the field elevation is 0 feet, as you can see on your altimeter, and the runway is 36. So we're going to have nice, easy numbers to work with for our altitude and nice cardinal directions to work with for our pattern leg turns. As we head down the taxiway, I'll introduce the lesson here a little bit. We've gone ahead and started the airplane. All the initial pre-flight checklists are complete. We've done our run-up. That checklist is complete, and we are essentially ready for takeoff as soon as we get down to runway 36. So what we're going to see here is a applicant flying their pattern, or their traffic pattern for the very first time. You're going to see a lot of common errors. We're going to talk through them as they occur. We're going to encourage the applicant to get back to the standard, and that's really what you should be focusing on in your training, whether you're a student pilot applicant or a professional pilot. Anytime you deviate away from the standard, making the effort to get back to that perfect flight is the goal. Everyone's going to deviate away from what they're intending to do at one time or another, but the important thing is that you're always correcting back to that standard and trying to fly as perfectly as possible. So as we see our applicant go around the pattern here today, we are going to see those common errors, and hopefully it will be educational for everyone to see how to make those corrections and come up with a pretty good result instead. So here we are, approaching the approach end of the runway. We've already got some non-standard markings here on the taxiway. We've got some edge lights that seem to be out of place, and no runway hold short line. So we're just going to go ahead and stop right here. We'll make our call, Galliano traffic, Skyhawk 0 Sierra Foxtrot, holding short, runway 36 for departure, pattern work, Galliano. Look left, look right, it looks clear. Go ahead and take the runway, Galliano traffic, 0 Sierra Foxtrot, taking runway 36 for pattern work, Galliano. Always like to start out, lights, camera, action. We've got our strobes and our landing light on. Our transponder is squawking CFR 1200, and as we put the power forward, runway 36 is verified. Instruments into green, airspeed is alive, and off we go. We're going to rotate at about 55, 60 knots. Maintain that runway center line using a little bit of right rudder, and at 55 knots, nice, easy back pressure. Let the airplane fly itself off the ground. Once we're airborne, we're going to pitch for VY. That's our best rate of climb. 75 knots, maintaining that 360 heading. Always correcting back. That 360 heading. Step nose up. Pitch through 75 knots as we climb out for our crosswind turn. No lower than 500 feet AGL. Once we hit 500 feet, go ahead and look left and turn left, and we can make our radio call. Galliano traffic, Skyhawk 0 Sierra Foxtrot, left crosswind turn, runway 36, Galliano. Alright, looks pretty good. Trying to get that speed at 75 knots at altitude up to 1,000, making that left heading 270, the crosswind turn. Basically just going to go wing level for a moment, use that 270 heading, and then immediately begin your turn down. A couple things are happening here. We're leveling off at 1,000 feet. The airspeed's starting to come up. We're going to bring the throttle back to maintain your desired airspeed. Probably about 100 knots is good. Don't forget to make your radio call. Galliano traffic, Skyhawk 0 Sierra Foxtrot, left downwind, runway 36, Galliano. And leveling off at 1,000, making that downwind turn, heading 180. Looking pretty good. Got that power back a little bit, correcting for that altitude, trying to get back to 1,000 feet. And looking out the left window. Once we're approaching about mid-field on our runway, is when we're going to start slowing this thing down and begin our process of landing configuration. pull that power back, get that flap speed of about 85 knots, at the top of the white tape there on your airspeed indicator. And once we're at 85 knots, we'll go ahead and get flaps 1. Try not to lose any altitude here. We really like to be holding 1,000 feet AGL. So we're going to be our pattern altitude, and in the downwind, not trying to lose any of that altitude. Alright, so what we're looking at now is that we're about 45 degrees from the approach end of the runway. We've got flaps 1 in. And once we're about 45 degrees, our position to the approach end of the runway, we can begin to make that base leg turn and start coming down. In the base leg, we're going to lose about 500 feet of altitude, so that when we begin our final, we're just about 500 feet AGL. Galliano traffic, Skyhawk 00 Foxtrot, left base, runway 36, Galliano. Read your radio calls. Alright, we'll get flaps 2 in as we start to make this base turn to help stabilize the aircraft, add in a little bit of drag so we can get this thing slowed down. Altitude's coming down nicely. See your spot in your runway there, that's good. And as we make our base to final turn, we can get those flaps 3 set, and we'll land flaps 3 today. Galliano traffic, Skyhawk 00 Foxtrot, turn to final, runway 36, Galliano.
500.
Perfect. So you rolled out, maybe you overshot just a little bit, coming back in. Find that runway center line with your ailerons and adjust the nose with your rudders. So we've got flaps 3, airspeed is maybe a touch fast. We're going to try to touch down about 65 knots, but you're losing altitude nicely. Let those bassies come in. They're right on the glide slope and coming through it. Find that runway center line. Thrust idle. Keep that nose up. Touch down right on those 1,000 footers. Find that runway center line. There's your touchdown. Nicely done. Fight for that center line. And we're not even touching the brakes here. Just using the rudder. Aerodynamic braking by gently pulling back on the yoke. Letting the drag of the airplane slow it down. And as we approach our runway exit, see taxiway markings, we can ease onto those brakes. Nice, gentle application of the brakes. Finding the yellow taxi line to help us exit the runway. And once you put that yellow center line between your legs, making that left turn, we'll clear the runway. Make sure the entire aircraft is clear of the yellow hold lines. Galliano traffic, Skyhawk 00 Foxtrot, clear runway 36, Galliano. Alright, after landing checklist, nicely done. How did it feel?